Sandy Sledge, you're promoting Sledge Leather. Can you tell me about the new album, Imagine Me Alive?
Sure. Have you heard it?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So, what do you want to know? I guess I can either tell you stuff or you can ask me questions. Tell me what you liked a little bit. Now I'm interviewing you, right? But I'm curious because you do this all the time, and you hear a lot of stuff. I know. I looked at your site. I know you're super busy, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. So, what did you like about it that caught your attention?
What I find interesting on this album, Imagine Me Alive, is the drumming on is quite powerful, up there, upbeat. The sound quality is very 2012-ish.
Yeah.
I think that's a very positive thing for an album.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been waiting a long time to really get recorded right, and that's one of the things that Juan at Trident, the engineer at Trident, who just did the Machine Head record, one of the things he said was, when's the last time you really got recorded correctly? And it had been a long time, and my drumming had really advanced since then. So it was a great opportunity for me to really get heard, to hear all the intricate bass drum stuff that I've been working on for, just all my life, really, and have it really heard correctly. And he was able to, enhance not enhance as in add in stuff, but make sure that everything, all the notes came out. And that's just, oh man, that's just a dream. Because I do a lot of like sextuplets on, between my tom-toms and my bass drums, and for me, they're really an integral part of metal, heavy metal, to make a song really heavy. I like to really, hammer on through the 4 and 1 and come in on the 2 with a crash. And that just, to me, that's metal. That's heavy metal. So I was really, really happy about the way it turned out.
Another thing also, Sandy, that's very important is if the drums aren't really there on an album, you ain't got the album. And this one, the drums are there, which I find, suits it very well.
Thank you. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Totally agree.
And could it be because you're a drummer that you're agreeing?
Hey man, I'm so glad that bass drums have come into more, to be more an element in metal, in just in music, because I love them. I just freaking have always loved them. And I always felt that they were a huge part of everything.
Now, Sandy, who's all playing on this CD? You can maybe, introduce the band itself.
Sure. Well, of course, the singer, Leather Leone. She's, the voice of the cult. She's one of the best metal singers I've ever heard, and I think a lot of people probably agree with me. And she's one of my best friends and my songwriting partner. So she's singing, and on guitar, we looked around. We did an international search for the guy who would be the right combination for us, the guy who could play heaviest, and we found this guy, Matt Weisheit. He was probably sitting in a farmhouse in Germany.
Wow.
But he was a graduate of Musicians Institute, which I am also. And so we're able to really speak the same language because we have the same background in that. And once we heard his audition on our original Imagine Me Alive, which is the original song we sent out to be auditioned on, he just nailed it. He just came in with the right heavy approach, those downstrokes. And we was like, yeah. We talked to him, like, yep, we got the same minds. So, love that guy. And then, it's interesting how Jimmy Bain and Scott Warren came to us. They're formerly worked with Dio. Scott was currently with him until Dio passed away. And Jimmy Bain worked with him on the great Holy Diver and Last in Line records. And Jimmy Bain is also the bass player in one of my favorite records ever, which is Rainbow Rising. You know that record?
Yeah, Rainbow is the band.
Yeah.
And Rainbow Rising is called the album.
Right, yeah,
With
yeah.
Richie Blackmore on guitar.
Oh, yeah. And I just think, I just, was addicted to that album in a weird way. Sometimes I just get obsessed with albums, and I just got so into that, and I listened to it probably every morning for maybe 4 or 5 years. And then I had to put it away and hide it from myself. And, a few years passed, and just recently when Leather and I started getting this project together, I just kept running into Jimmy Bain around town. It was the strangest thing. And then one day I was saying to Matt, the new guitar player, I was like, man, we got to get, we got to get the right bass player. And I'm not lying to you. I said, I swear, and Jimmy Bain is the one. I got to figure out how to get a hold of him. And we stopped at Ralph's. It's a supermarket here in L.A. We stopped at the supermarket. We walked in. I swear to God there was Jimmy Bain in the cheese section. Fucking Jimmy Bain. I'm like, Jimmy, what are you doing here? He's like in his Scottish accent, shopping for cheese,
Yep.
All right. Well, will you play on the record? And we talked about it, and he knew who Leather was, and because Leather and I used to go see Dio, and Dio was a mentor of Leather's, and he remembered us, and he said, yeah, sure, I would, which was amazing. And then, just like 2 days after that, without even mentioning it, this guy who's helping manage us, his name is Keith Marks, he said, I know Scott Warren, keyboard player from Dio. And we were like, wow, this is a sign. Not to be too weird, but it was just kind of like how it fell together. So it was just divine intervention.
And that's great to have the Dio, people involved in it adds this, extra, I don't know what you call it, just, it enhances things just to know people like that at that level are playing.
Oh, man, right? It sure does. It sure does. It's the real deal. I mean, to have Jimmy Bain play with my drumming, a dream come true.
And you all know what a weird coincidence on this interview? Tonight I'm interviewing Claude Chanel. Original Dio keyboardist for our exclusive.
That's a good interview to have because there's a rumor going around. I'm sure you've heard it.
I maybe have. One thing I find very good is you rescued a guy from a farm, and now he's playing professionally with you guys. That's great. As you said.
He's a good player, He's a really good player. He's got a lot of heart and soul. And then for the live band, we because Jimmy wasn't really available to play live with us, Scott is though. We added a bass player from Sweden. His name's Chris Davidson. He's also going to Musicians Institute, and he's just heavy Viking dude. Just this guy just comes in. I mean, we auditioned a lot of people, and after playing with Jimmy, I'm not going to settle. We auditioned person after person after person, and this kid came in and just laid it down. Just laid it down. Digga, 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 digga. So steady. Oh, I love that guy. And we found a guitar player who is also going to Musicians Institute. He's from Wisconsin, a guy named Rick Lambert. And he came in for the audition, and he said, do you mind if I play Matt's solos off the record? And we're like, go ahead. And he played, he nailed it, everything. He had the feel, he had the groove. It's great. So it's the touring band is going to be myself, Leather, Scott Warren, Matt, our guitar player, Rick Lambert, our new guitar player, and Chris Davidson, the Viking on bass.
Awesome. Were you guys going to be touring like North America mostly? Overseas, perhaps?
We really hope to get to Europe because Leather never, when she was with Chastain all those years, she never toured Europe. And they're dying for her. When we played Germany, at the Keep It True Festival last year, we had people coming up crying. I'm not kidding you. They were crying. Oh, my God, I can't believe it, Leather. I flew in from Mexico City to see you.
Wow.
Guys, I drove 15 hours from the Netherlands to get here on time. Will you please sign these stacks of albums, Chastain albums they wanted to sign, I can't, they were just freaking out. And so we got to get back there. It's expensive, though.
When you look at it, something like that, that's total dedication from a fan, and you got to totally respect that, and that is awesome.
Totally. It's one of the reasons that drives us to do this. Because it's a lot of work, I'm sure you're a guitar player yourself. I'm sure it's a lot of, putting out the music and stuff. It's enjoyable, of course, but there's a lot a lot to be done, a lot of phone calls and stuff like that, and I feel a responsibility to Leather's fans. Really, I saw thousands of people on YouTube asking for her, so and I'm a Leather fan too. So I'm like, damn, we got to get this out there. And then we always feel like we're being guided by Dio's spirit.
Which is a good thing.
It is a good thing. Thank you.
Sandy, let's say the music scene in general today, do you think it changed a lot? Or is it going to pick up back, the metal roots somehow?
Well, it's always been evolving. I mean, for me, that's one of the really cool things about metal, is that as long as the music is heavy and, kind of pushes in an aggressive way, it's called metal. And that's what I love. I love the metal fans for that. They're really accepting of all the different changes. So yeah, back in San Francisco in the 80s, we saw metal turn into, from like bands like Blue Cheer, who we opened up, Rude Girl opened up for at the Mabuhay, to Slayer, who we were scheduled to open up for at the Stone only like a year later. The whole gamut of stuff. And I love that. I hope it keeps happening. We're really accepting people as metalheads.
Mm-hmm.
We rock because of that. We're awesome because of that.
Sandy, let's say a band starting out today versus starting out in 1985 or 1995. What do you think of the difference with the internet? Like, we're talking on Skype, the internet. It's a big thing that's a little crazy now.
Yeah. I can't say enough good things about it, though. I mean, man, just to have free access to promoting yourself and to putting your product out there is the best thing in the world. I think, when it started happening in 96, 97, 98, I made an internet broadcasting station, and I had a company that let people make their own TV shows and put them on the internet, like 8 to 10 minute shows, and put them on the internet. And then I saw how that's going to blossom into stuff, into YouTube and stuff like that. And for music, man, nothing could be better. We need that.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder starting out as a band, probably to make a big noise, but I don't actually think it is harder. I think it's easier, because you could put your stuff out there and give it to people for free instead of having to, trade tapes and stuff, cassette tapes, or rely on a record label to pick you up and direct you. That was the hardest part back then, was being told what to do.